Hey YouTube, what is going on? It is Jax here back with another video, and today we are going to be going over this Pekka Ramrider deck. As you guys know, last season Issei finished top 5 in the world with it. It is really good and he is super good, and I have just been enjoying the crap out of this deck, playing it on my push. I'm a little bit under top 500 global, but when I got there with this deck, it was top 500, so we'll be going over the replays. But before I get into the replays, para mis suscriptores hispanohablantes, yo tengo un canal en español. En mi primer video, yo usaba las mismas repeticiones, pero el comentario está en español. Un cuidado, mi español en todo está rota, pero mi comentario está bueno. Si quieres suscribir a al canal, un enlace está en la descripción. Y espero que todos disfrutan mi video. Lo siento. So basically what I just said there, sorry for the English speakers who just probably surprised by that. I said I have a Spanish channel and I'm going over some of the replays, but they're in Spanish. And my Spanish is kind of bad, but one caution, my Spanish is kind of bad, but my commentary was good. So let's go ahead and get into the English version of this. Our first game is going to be against Santo XD. Also, if you guys want to subscribe to that channel, the link is in the description. Make sure to subscribe to this one too if you aren't already, and drop a like on the video. It helps out a lot. Comment, all the good stuff. So, as we get into the first replay against Santo XD, he's playing a weird version of Pekka Bridge Spam. He's going to have Xe Tornado instead of Magic Archer and Fireball. So, it's honestly a very interesting idea because he has very strong air defense now. He now pretty much counters Lava Hound, if I had to guess, and he still has quite a bit of ground pressure. The only problem is going to be finishing off those games with no big spell. So he goes in for the Ghost. I answer with the Bandit, and I actually already knew this deck, so I might play a little bit differently than most would. He zaps the Bandit though, and I was like, okay, he just spent a lot of elixir. My Baby Dragon is still going to be alive and be getting me counter push. So let's go ahead in for a Ramrider with the Pekka. Or let's go ahead in for a Ramrider with the Baby Dragon, because the Baby Dragon is going to go ahead and start getting damage on the Pekka. So we go in for a Pekka in the back, and you might be like, oh, Jax, you're really low on elixir. You don't have anything for that battle ram. And I'd be like, well, you're probably right, except I have a Bar Barrel. And Barbarian is so good. You only take the connect damage if you play it right. I played mine a little early, so my Barbarian targeted the back one instead of the front one. Instead of helping out, it kind of split up, which sucked a little bit. But since we have the Pekka alive, we're going to go ahead in for the Lightning. He's going to go for the Royal Ghost. And Pekka does end up killing the Royal Ghost, and he panic bandits. He really did not need that bandit. We go for the bandit, though, just to make sure his bandit doesn't dash, because if the bandits had gotten into a dash fight, then his bandit would have dashed, and mine wouldn't have. But as it is, because of how that interaction played out, the bandit still has 2 tower hits of HP, which means it would die on the second one, and that also means it's going to dash on the tower. So he's forced to go in for a Battle Ram. I go for a Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon is going to do a nice job. We take one more Barbarian hit, but it's not the end of the world. He still has to counter that Baby Dragon or just let it go, and he ends up letting it go, which I was pretty happy about. I like having damage in both lanes, even though this deck is more of a beatdown bridge spam and not so much of a split lane bridge spam. But we go ahead and snowball his right tower, and he takes that as an excuse to Pekka. So we go for the Pekka as well. I go behind the King Tower because I don't want my Pekka. I want my Pekka to walk farther. I want his Pekka to walk farther. I want them to meet as far away from his towers as we can. So I go for the Bar Barrel. Not a great Bar Barrel. I didn't even hit the Ghost for its damage. But he's going to go in for the... we go for a Bandit to block his Bandit from dashing. And then our Ewas comes down to counter them both. So I go for a Snowball because I know my Pekka's going to win this fight. He goes in for another Pekka though, and I consider Lightning, but I don't do it because if I did, I'd kill the Ewas of course, but then I'd still have to play a Pekka to counter his Pekka, and then I'd have nothing. So we go in for the Baby Dragon first, knowing that he was going to Bandit, and I go in for the Bar Barrel as well. We do the same thing again, but a nice zap is going to allow him to break through, and now our tower's really low on HP. So this is a bit scary, guys, because as you can see, we do have to get so much damage off his tower. So I predicted his Ewas with the Snowball, but he's just going to activate the King Tower and then go for the Ewas. So we get some of the damage back now, but now his King is up. So this is where him not having a big spell comes huge, because we're able to go for a Pekka in the back, and he still has to, like, take that tower. He can't just, like, he's got to break something through. He can't just sit back Magic Archer and big spell me. Like, he's got to break something through. So he goes in for the Executioner. I'm honestly not going to play much more, knowing he's going to try and punish me in the opposite lane. So I go for the Baby Dragon, and then I go for the Bandit. We're going to take a lot of damage here, but we're going to get a huge counter push. Ewas is coming in. Unfortunately, Pekka does not kill the Ewas, so I have to snowball this Ewas. but it should be okay because the baby dragon and the bandit are going to do a nice job over there, taking out that or taking out his bandit, and then a barbarrel is going to clean up this executioner. So now we're up quite a bit of elixir, and I know this is my chance. This is the one big opportunity I'm going to have to break through, because he spent so much elixir on the other side. So we go for a Ram Rider behind the Pekka. I see him going for a Ghost Battle Ram. I'm not too worried about it, though. We go for the bandit, and I'm going to let it connect again. Actually, I do have to Ewiz, though, because of how everything is coming in. And I just needed a little bit more, but we're able to go in for the lightning, and the Pekka kills his. We managed to get the bandit or the Ram Rider onto the tower. We go for the snowball, 60 HP remaining, and we actually have almost taken the win here. We just have to keep defending for the rest of the game. So he's going to go in for the Battle Ram, and that was a smart play on his end. We go for the Ram Rider, though. We're going to snare this Battle Ram. We're going to snare the Executioner. Barbarrel's going to come in, and I was considering defending more, but he might have actually broken through. So we just go for the lightning, knowing he's too low and has no lightning block, and we walk away with the victory. That's going to be a nice first game. Panicky, but we made sure you have to be so patient with this deck. We waited for the right opportunity, and we went for it, and we broke through. So, very nice game. So, our next game is going to be against Mishua Furiano. And so, this guy plays double Prince Royal Hogs with Princess and Archers and Bats. It's such a weird deck. You guys can see for yourself. But I knew what it was. Again, little top ladder privilege. I faced this guy quite a bit before. So he's going to go in for the Princess. And I go in for the Bandit to answer it. And he's going to go in for the Archers. And at this point, I was like, okay, he's going to put something in front. He's not just going to let my Bandit. That would be so much Bandit value. So I cycle my Baby Dragon, preparing for whatever he's going to do. Bandit, he's going to place a Dark Prince in front, and I go for a Snowball Barbarrel. Kind of a bad Snowball. I only hit the Dark Prince and like one Archer. But I kind of just wanted to kill everything. I didn't want my Barbarrel to just die. So he goes for Bats, and then he also goes for Pigs. So I go for a Pekka, and I screw up my Pekka a little bit. We're going to take quite a bit of damage, but it's honestly okay, because it's going to allow us to build up Elixir for even bigger counter push now. So we have this full HP Pekka, and we're almost even on Elixir because of how much he spent. So I'm going to go, he goes in for the Princess in the back, and I know my Ram Rider Snare is going to do a really good job. So I go for the Ram Rider, I go for a Bandit. We're going to go ahead and start getting on top of getting those Archers killed. We go in for he goes in for a Dark Prince, but the Bandit, Ram Rider, and the Pekka go ahead and just eviscerate it, and the Ram Rider eventually gets to killing that Princess. Now the Ram Rider's on tower doing a lot of damage. He plays some Bats to prevent the tower from falling, but his tower's at 192, so I can just defend and then go for a lightning if I really need to. So we go for the Barbarian Barrel just to see if we can maybe take the tower. He's going to zap it, not let that Barbarian take the tower. And he goes in for a Princess at the bridge here. So I'm just going to bleed out here because I didn't want to cycle anything. You sometimes do have to bleed Elixir in this deck. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some really bad cycles. Sometimes you already have a bad cycle and you just don't want to make it worse for yourself. So we bleed until 10 and he goes for a Princess at the bridge. So we're going to Ewiz that. And then he goes for a Dark Prince, and he goes for a Royal Hog. So as you can see, I have no ground units other than the Pekka. And if I Pekka, the Pekka would mostly die, and I'd still probably lose most, if not all, this tower. So I just decided to give it to him. We're just going to let him take that tower, and I go for a Pekka in the back. We're going to start a big push. We're going to try and take his tower while we still have the advantage of Elixir by giving up that tower. So he's going to go in for a Prince to block the Baby Dragon, and I honestly take the Lightning. That's a 5 Elixir Lightning right there to take the tower, and the Baby Dragon's going to do a great job against the Prince. So we go for a Ram Rider here, and he's going to go in for a Dark Prince, and that Log Zap combo was really annoying. It prevents the Ram Rider from connecting a lot to this tower, but Ram Rider does get close, and Prince is going to come in, and Prince is going to go ahead and take out the Pekka, but not before the Pekka gets a shot on the tower because he played it a bit late. So we're just going to Barbarrel those Archers. We're going to play a Pekka on top of the Hogs just to tank for this Prince as well. And then I'm going to wait a little bit, and then we go for the Ewiz way up high. So the Ewiz right here is going to go ahead and kill off this Bat while also hitting the Princess as well. And due to the fact that the Pekka has some HP, we're able to go ahead and get a shot on the Dark Prince. I know he was trying to log to prevent that from happening, but he does fail. And so he's going to go in for the Archers in the back. And so I'm going to cycle my Bandit. Even though he's got a Prince, it's okay to cycle the Bandit because we have so much Elixir. I try and snowball the Archers into my Baby Dragon. It doesn't work. We're going to go in for the Barbarrel on top of this Princess just to make sure he can't go ahead and get too much King Tower damage. He goes for a Dark Prince and Royal Hogs. I go for Baby Dragon, trying to snipe those Archers, but it doesn't work, and then it does work after a while. I don't actually go in for a Snowball. We don't even need it. Baby Dragon is getting me a lot of damage, and so I go in for the Ram Rider because we have a lot of counter push here, and I know I can afford a Lightning. So Snare prevents the prince from charging. Ram Rider's going to recharge on the tower. Bandit's coming in, and because of the lightning and the bandit and the baby dragon, we were able to kill the prince and well as one of the archers, and that allowed us to break through and go ahead and get a victory on that game. So we're going to go into one last game here, and I'm going to try and get one that I didn't use in the Spanish video. Oh shoot, I accidentally clicked one of them. So actually, we're going to try and get one that I didn't use in the Spanish video, which would only leave that replay against Mishua Furiano as the one that was in both videos, because I think I have enough. So let's see. Let's go. Oh man, I keep clicking. I apologize for that, guys. I really don't mean to keep clicking on this. My phone just is registering the tap somehow while I'm scrolling. So we'll go and X out of that as quickly as possible. I'm going to come down, and I think we do have a replay here against Clem. No, we have a one from against Omar RRM from TNT IQ. So this guy is playing a really weird deck, and again for the third time, top ladder privilege. I knew what he was playing because there are like 8 different accounts in this clan that play this exact same deck, and I've had the privilege of playing and losing to almost all of them with Classic Pekka, because this is an impossible matchup with Classic Pekka. So he goes in for the Goblin Hut down low. I go for a Ram Rider in the back, and honestly, this is such a bad starting hand. There's no way for me to counter that Goblin Hut there. We just go for the Ram Rider in the back, and he's going to go for a Barbs, and we go for the high Baby Dragon, and it just sucks, man, because the Baby Dragon is going to end up killing those Barbarians. We go for a Bandit, and the goal with that Bandit there was to try and help out against those Barbarians, help the Baby Dragon out against those Barbarians. We go for a Bar Barrel. We go for the Ewes to try and counter the Mortar. Bad Bar Barrel. I only hit like one Spear Goblin there. And he goes in for archers, so we're able to quickly snowball the archers and the mortar. My snowball is actually level 13, if you guys saw earlier, which doesn't actually make that much of a difference. It's still pretty fine, but we definitely could have used more, and we take so much damage right off the bat there. So we're not down too much elixir, but we're down like 1,500 damage, just basically because I didn't have anything for that first Goblin Hut, which kind of sucks. I'm really not that happy about that interaction. So here, we're just not playing any games. We're going to go ahead and lightning that. We hit the tower, Goblin Hut, and one Spear Goblin. We do have to take all that Goblin damage, though. But it's worth it in the long run for not getting screwed over in our interactions later. So he's going to go for a Flying Machine in the back, and then I'm just going to wait as long as we can. And then I'm going to go... So he's actually going to go for the Mortar. I go Baby Dragon in the back. Bandit way out of the way of the Flying Machine, so that can't help. Knight's going to come down. I don't agree with that, though. And then we're able to go for an Ewes, and the Mortar does actually lock onto the tower for one hit there. But because of the Knight walking away, the Baby Dragon and the Ewes are both getting counter pushed, and he's going to have to just deal with an arrows there and archers. So he goes for the archers, and I know he's very, very low on elixir. After that, he just spent Mortar, Knight, all that good stuff, and went arrows, archers to kill that. So Ram Rider connects to the tower. We're going to catch up in all that damage that we were missing. Snowball, the Ram Rider gets one more hit and has the time to kill that Flying Machine. Beautiful interaction there. 7 for 4, which is a negative trade, but we could afford it. We could afford that because we were down so much elixir and we needed to catch up in damage. So he's going to go in for the Goblin Hunt, and honestly, I'm just going to not play any games. That's a strong side tower, but I'm perfectly fine lightning over there. So we go in for the Bandit in the back, Baby Dragon over there. We wanted the Bandit to dash and stay out of the way of the Knight. Barbell's going to come in a little late. I was hesitating on whether or not I needed it, and then I was like, yeah, I do need it. But look at how much elixir we have on the map. So we're going to go in for the Ram Rider, even though he has the Barbs. Actually, no, we don't yet. We know he has to play the Barbs. So we go for a Ram Rider in the back. We bait out the Barbarians. I go for an Ewes here, and we go for the Bandit. And he's going to go in for the Goblin Hut, which was not a smart plan on his end. We go for the Baby Dragon, and Baby Dragon is so satisfying. Times with the Ram Rider hit to completely kill that off. And so now we have a really nice counter push coming in. Arrows are going to come in. They do kill the Bandit. But now the Mortar's up high, and so we're able to go ahead. He's going to play his archers instead of saving for the Barbarians. That was his downfall. If he had saved for the Barbarians, he maybe had a chance. Mortar gets a shot, and we are actually dangerously close to losing that game. But Ram Rider is going to go ahead and take the game for us against a decently difficult matchup, but not the worst in the world. Baby Dragon got so much value there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time recording this, and I had a great time recording it in Spanish too, even though the Spanish is probably bad. If you guys want to go and check it out, link, like I said, is in the description below to JackCRES. That is the name of the channel. And I will see you guys all in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you then.